Yeah.
The world wants to know what is in the hundreds of documents that are now finally being released in the case of child rapist and sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The reason the documents are being released is because they're going to be necessary to prosecute his fixer, Ghislaine Maxwell. So what are we learning so far? Here's RT correspondent John Huddy.
Orgies with European models by the pool, sexual encounters and escapades under beachside cabanas on Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Just some of the stories to come out in a trove of newly released documents unsealed by the court. They stem from a defamation suit by Virginia Roberts Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell in 2016 and settled for an undisclosed sum of money in 2017. Giuffre's testimony in 2016 describes Epstein and Maxwell as a toxic team that repeatedly exploited and abused her, with Giuffre saying Maxwell, quote, brought me in for the purpose of being trafficked. Since then, the allegations of abuse, manipulation, and sex trafficking of Roberts Giuffre and dozens of other young women and underage girls have been well publicized. The latest document dump just adds to the seedy and sordid story, with Giuffre describing a constant rotation of young women and girls coming through Epstein's various properties, including his infamous pedophile island. There, Giuffre describes a collection of young European-looking models, who she says were either Russian or Czechoslovakian, judging by their language, and flown in by Epstein, having sex with Maxwell by the poolside and under beach cabanas on his private beach. Giuffre also claims some of Epstein's rich and powerful friends spent time with him and his collection of girls on the island, including Prince Andrew, who Giuffre says she spent 2 days alone with at Epstein's New Mexico ranch, saying, quote, my job was to entertain him endlessly, whether that meant taking him horseback riding or giving him sexual massages. Andrew has denied any wrongdoing. The documents also included emails between Epstein and Maxwell in January 2015, contradicting Maxwell's claims she hadn't had contact with Epstein in a decade, with Epstein writing to Maxwell in one that she had, quote, done nothing wrong, urging her to start acting like it, go outside, head high, not as an escaping convict. But Maxwell remains locked up in an 8 by 10-foot jail cell under 24-hour supervision at the maximum security Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. She was denied bail and will remain there through her trial next year. While so much about Maxwell and Epstein's life has already been made public, Maxwell did win one small victory, though, with a judge agreeing, for now anyway, to keep details about her sex life unsealed, though so much is already known and has already been said and alleged. Still, Maxwell's lawyer argues the potentially embarrassing details could make it difficult, if not impossible, to find an impartial jury. One difficult job, along with perhaps the most important right now, keeping Ghislaine Maxwell alive long enough to face that jury. For the news with Rick Sanchez, John Huddy.